Hey guys, welcome into the garage. I'm DJ and this is Garageolution. Alright, so brand new channel, brand new video. Thought I'd give you guys a little intro and backstory to how this beautiful piece of machinery has ended up here in my garage. So back in the beginning of quarantine and the pandemic, I made some career changes and thought I had a full-time job lined up, and turns out that fundraising just isn't as needed in the middle of everybody staying home. And so didn't have a whole lot to do. And throughout the course of a race season and working on race motorcycles, really decided that, I enjoy this stuff, I like doing it, why not take a chance and do something that I've always wanted to do and never really had the time or the maybe courage to take on. So at the end of the year in 2020, I decided that I'd open up my own shop. So that's what I've done. Been working here out of the garage for 2.5 months. And right about that time, right at the end of the year, I found out about this lovely machine here. And so I went and took a look at it and decided that I'd bring the rusty girl home and see what we could do with her. And honestly, it's something I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to build a bike to perform and look like I wanted it to look, not as it came from the factory. And so this was a really great opportunity to do that. So what I'd like to do today is just show you how we've kind of come to this point and show you some of the interesting things that have happened along the way. So let's check it out. Clearly this bike's got some rust, some dents, a lot of dirty parts. You can see a little bit of oil leakage in there. It just needs a lot of attention and going over. It hasn't been registered since 1990, and it's traveled across country from New Hampshire out here to the West Coast. So of course it's also got no keys. So that was a big chunk of time to start with, was pulling off the ignition so that I could steer it around, and then, as you can see here, pulling off the seat. And then just decided to pull apart everything that was connected to it so that I could get a really good idea for what all was there, what wasn't there, and
one of the great things about this bike is that it was complete. It hadn't lost parts. It still had the side covers. I mean, everything is there. And it's like they just stopped riding it, put it in a barn, and never touched it again. So the gas tank's got a big dent in it that something obviously landed on it. But we'll take care of that in a later video. My goal here early on was really to get the thing running. I wanted to know for sure that the engine was in good shape before I pulled it out of the frame. And so a lot of what I'm doing is in preparation of trying to get it started. Unfortunately, the carburetors had a couple of screws missing, and so I knew that they were going to have to come out. There was no way I was going to be able to put fuel through there and get anything going, especially because it had been sitting just for so long. And of course, you run into issues. So in the middle of pulling the carburetors apart, which you're going to see here in a couple of minutes, one of the intake bolts that holds the intake onto the head actually snapped off in the middle of pulling it apart. So I wasn't able to get the motor running because there was just no way to put any kind of a carburetor back onto it with that intake leaking the way it was. So I was pretty bummed about that, but overall it also gave me a chance to look at the bike real good, and aside from the just nest of spiders that were there, it felt good to know that it was all there and it was all in working order and looked like everything was going to be able to be used. Pretty stoked to build this up into a Scrambler and put some chunky tires on it and a big handlebar and some of those kind of things. So I'll show you a little inspiration for what I'm looking to build here at the end of this little video section, and you can see what I'm hoping to make it look similar to, not exactly the same, but something similar. Well, you saw there at the end of the video that we had a little bit of a snag, which is going to happen with these things. I mean, this thing it's old. It's got a lot of rusty parts. It's going to have some challenges. So frankly, I was surprised that it didn't have more problems than what I had. And I really feel pretty grateful actually that it's gone as well as it has. But instead of seeing this thing run and hearing it run in the bike, we pulled it out, threw it up here on the bench, and did some more checking on it, and so I'll show some of that in a later video. But we've still got one intake stud that broke off and just could not get it out of there. There's not enough left to get any tools on it, so I'm gonna have to drill it out and go that route. So yeah, take a look at that. So disappointing for sure, but like I said, I found some ways to check it out and make sure that everything else as far as the motor looks like it's in good shape. It's holding compression, and it's got
yeah, it's moving freely and everything looks good. So really excited to do a little bit more on cleaning that up and getting it ready to put back into the frame once that's all modified and ready to go. So yeah, I think that's going to be it for today. Make sure you subscribe and keep up with the project and all the other things I'm going to have going on in the coming months. So thanks for hanging with me in the garage today.